Greetings. Welcome back to my channel, Ham Radio Test and Review. My name is Dave. I live in Prescott, Arizona. My call sign is N8DAV, and my name is in my call sign. I have a motto for my channel, and that is, one test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. I have a background in high-tech software development and testing, especially in quality assurance and quality control. So I feel like I have not only a good background to do all this sort of thing, but I'm absolutely love doing it. So if you've been enjoying some of my videos, follow along for my next one in the series of the soft, flexible, Stubby HT antenna series that I have been working on. So the next antenna that I'm testing in the series of short, stubby, flexible antennas is the Nagoya NA-810. Now, this particular antenna is out of the 4 or 5 that I'm going to be testing, is actually slightly different than all the rest of the other short, soft antennas. It's about the same length, but the shape of it is a little different, and the material it's made out of is a little different. I know you want me to do this. Okay, so the material feels very, very different than the other 4 or 5 that I'm going to be testing and reviewing in the series of antenna tests. So this one, I don't know, maybe it is different, maybe it's not. Here's the package that it comes in. This is a verified Nagoya. I bought this from BTech. BTech, as you know, is an American company. It stands for Baofeng Tech, but they are an American company that they are associated with Baofeng, but they are based right here in the United States. This particular package does come with the rubber grommet / rubber gasket. It also has a QR code that actually worked when I tried it, as well as a UPC symbol. And it has some of the specifications written on the package itself. And it does specify that this is a BNC, I'm sorry, this is an SMA female connector on this. I tried to get it in the BNC because I like to standardize on BNC in all my HT antennas, but I just couldn't find one. So anyway, kick back and relax, and I'll come back with the specifications as BTech has specified them. As like most of the other soft, stubby, flexible antennas that I'm reviewing here, this is a 2-band antenna for the 2 meter and the 70 centimeter bands. It's exactly 2 5/8 inches long. Of course, it's the soft, flexible rubber type. And of course, this has got the SMA female connector on it. The manufacturer specifies that this is a 50 ohm antenna, and that the SWR is 1.5 to 1 or less. Now, the interesting thing about this antenna compared to all the others specify a maximum 10 watt is allowed to be put into it. Nagoya BTech, they specify this is on maximum of 6 watts. I don't know what that means exactly. I have driven this antenna with a 6 to 8 watt radio, and it does get warm. It gets very, very warm. Matter of fact, a little too warm, I think. But I didn't burn it out. It's still working great. They also specify in their ads that there's some gain on this antenna. So they specify 0 gain for 2 meter, but for the 70 centimeter band, they specify 1.5 dB gain. So, you know, it's hard to tell with these compromised antennas whether you really are getting any gain or not. But they do specify that this is a quarter wave antenna, which is very interesting because that means it has to be mostly in the coil and the radiation absorption part of the antenna. So anyway, as you know, these short, stubby antennas, or just about any antenna that's not a full wavelength of some sort, they need to have a coil in them to make them electrically the correct length. That way you'll get a good SWR and you'll get a good impedance match for the antenna and the HT. But when you run a coil like that, the coil has a tendency to absorb a lot of the radiation, a lot of the energy that you transmit through it. So it's a highly compromised antenna. Also being extremely short, you don't have the physical acreage out there that you can transmit and receive on. You know, a 2-foot antenna has a lot more area for you to be able to transmit and receive to and from as compared to an antenna that's less than 3 inches long. So again, highly compromised, so you can't expect good distance and performance out of them. But for short distances, they're really great. Also, too, because it's a because it's a soft, flexible antenna, there's less tendency for you to be able to break them, especially if you're hard on your equipment, you bang them up against things. Hard plastic stubby antennas have a tendency to break off if you hit them hard enough against something hard. So these things are almost indestructible. Anyway, I'll be back in just a minute and we'll start with all the testing. Oh, I almost forgot. I did buy this off of Amazon and I paid $16.98 for it. So it's a little more expensive than the other antennas, but let's see if after all the testing, let's see if it might be worth it. Well, the first test we're going to do on the Nagoya NA-810 short, stubby, highly flexible rubberized antenna is the power SWR reading. First, we're going to do it on the 2-meter band, and here's what we're going to come up with. You get an SWR of 3.56 at 6.09 watts. Next up, we're going to test the SWR of the Nagoya NA-810 stubby antenna on the 70 centimeter band. You get an SWR of 1.71 at 3.42 watts. And last but not least, we are going to test the Nagoya NA-810 stubby antenna on the GMRS band for all you GMRS fans out there. And we get 3.19 at 2.64 watts. All right, for our next set of tests, we're going to run the Nagoya NA-810 stubby antenna on the NanoVNA antenna analyzer. When I turn this on, it's going to immediately default to the 2-meter band, so let's see what it looks like. And it looks rather high there. So at set the center of the band. So at 146 megahertz, our SWR is 5. Let me stop it just to keep from being annoying here. 5.388. Okay, next we're going to test on the 70 centimeter band. Oh, interesting curve here. All right, set this to the center of the band. So at 435 megahertz, we have an SWR of 2.091. Last but not least, we're going to test on the GMRS band. Set this to the center of the band. And at 465 megahertz, our SWR is 3.105. Okay, our next set of tests involve the field strength meter. First, we're going to test the 2-meter band with the field strength meter. The radio and the meter are specified distance apart. The radio is set on high, and let's see what our results are. Okay, on the 70 centimeter band, we are testing the Nagoya NA-810 stubby antenna on the 70 centimeter band. And of course, we're going to test the fields with the field strength meter on the GMRS band, channel 16. Okay, I'm back over at the park, and just like earlier today, the wind is blowing around 40-50 miles an hour, so I'm not going to be able to do the exact same field strength and the field clarity and modulation tests that I normally do. I'm about 150 feet closer to my base station than I normally would be, and so I'm going to run the test anyway. We're going to see how well it works. Normally, I might get a little static, I might not. This morning, the antenna worked really well and didn't get any static. So let's try today and see if we're going to get any static or not from this particular location. This is N8DAV, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. This is N8DAV, testing 1, 2, 3, testing 1, 2, 3. Well, considering I'm inside this thing I call a Faraday cage or SUV, whatever you may want to call it, so that came in very loud and clear. So this is probably not the greatest test. Probably better that I go back out to where I'm supposed to go, where I know the antenna is going to have a little bit more of a problem. But like I said, it's just way too windy out here today. I do apologize. I do want to get these videos out to you because a lot of you have been asking me for them. So I'm trying to get them out as quickly as possible for you. But, you know, I can only do so much. Mother Nature, when it calls, you can't tell her no. So anyway, let's go back to the ham shack and we'll review everything, all the tests that we've done so far, and let's see what the results are. All right, so what have we learned today about the Nagoya NA-810 soft rubber flexible stubby antenna? Well, as I've always told you, any compromised antenna is going to be tuned either for the 2-meter band or for the 70 centimeter band, or that could try and compromise between the two. In this particular case, it appears that this antenna has been tuned for the 70 centimeter band. The SWR was 3.5 or higher on the 2-meter band. Using the power SWR meter, it was 1.7 to 1.71 to 1, and with the NanoVNA, it was 2.091. So pretty good there on the 70 centimeter band. A little worse on the GMRS band. However, we all realize that the antenna is specified not for use on the GMRS band, but only on the 2-meter 70 centimeter band. But some antennas do work well on the GMRS band. And on GMRS, it was just a little over 3. For HT antennas, I consider over 2 but under 3 to be okay. If it's under 2, it's great. So, you know, if you're going to be working with a mobile antenna or a base station antenna, you're going to want to bring that way down. Under 2 is the only acceptable solution, and the closer to 1 that you can get is absolutely the best that you can think of or expect and hope for. Now, as far as the field strength meter testing is concerned, this was definitely not as good as some of the other antennas that we've tested so far. We got a plus 3.1 dB on the 2-meter band. That's a little lower than what we were getting on some of the other antennas. We got 0 on the 70 centimeter band. That's about average for what we were getting on the 70 centimeter band. And on the GMRS band, we got minus 8.0 dB. Not so great, but about average, I think, for the GMRS band as well. So again, if you're going to be running this mostly on the 70 centimeter band, then maybe the Nagoya is a good solution for you. You might think twice about running it on the GMRS band, but you'll probably be okay. I wouldn't run it for any period of time, for any length of time, or expect any kind of performance on the 2-meter band. Now, our real world testing with the modulation clarity and being able to get into the repeater, it did really well. But again, you know, I wasn't able to test on my normal spot. In my normal spot, I'm about 150 feet farther with an outbuilding between myself and the base station antenna. I had to test a little bit closer, about 150 feet, even though I was inside of a so-called Faraday cage, which is my SUV. Don't know how much or how little that actually would affect the tests, but this antenna did get into my repeater, pretty much full quieting. So again, I just hard to tell exactly what it would have done if I had gone back out. If I have the time, for some of you guys know that I am moving, so if I have the time to go back and test these antennas at my regular spot, I'll try and do so. But I think at this point, I think that most of these stubby antennas perform very similarly. Some are just a little bit better than others, and this Nagoya seemed to be one of the ones that were just a little bit better than the others. So in the numbers, not so great, but in the actual testing, did pretty good. So that's about all I can tell you. One test is worth 1,000 expert opinions. My name is Dave. My call sign is N8DAV. My name is in my call sign. I live in Prescott, Arizona, and I'm saying 73s and so long.